Introduction. If you've read the previous volumes of the True Crime Case Histories series, you know that I like to start with a brief word of warning. The stories included in this book are truly depraved and shocking. They are not for the squeamish. Many true crime television shows and news articles often leave out the gruesome details simply because they may be too much for the average viewer or reader. With my books, I try not to leave out the details, no matter how vicious they may be. My intention is not to shock, but to provide a clear and accurate description of some of the most evil minds of the world. Though the stories are brief, I do my best to include enough detail so that the reader can get a better look into the demented mind of the killer. This volume features 12 of the most incomprehensible stories of the last 60 years. Trying to understand the motivation behind murders like these can be an exercise in futility. But one thing is for sure, the stories in this volume will keep you turning pages. In this book, you'll encounter a story that has haunted me since I was a little kid growing up in Southwest Washington. I lived a normal American life where I could ride my bike around my small town from dusk till dawn without a care in the world. When I was 12 years old, a boy in my neighborhood just a year older than I disappeared and was later found murdered. At the time, I didn't know many of the details, but after researching the story all these years later and realizing that monsters like Tommy Reagan were roaming my tiny town, I may not have felt quite so secure. In this volume, you'll also read of how the Texas justice system grossly failed to protect the people of Texas. The result of their leniency was that a brutal killer of 3 teenagers was allowed back on the streets to kill as many as 11 more women. Several of the stories include familial killings. There's the husband that killed his successful wife because he was jealous of her career, the wife that killed her husband so she could marry his best friend and collect insurance money, the young New Orleans man that survived Hurricane Katrina only to kill and cook his girlfriend, the young girl that hired hitmen to kill her parents, and the man that married his teenage daughter before hunting her down and killing her. Though all the killings are senseless, some are particularly perplexing. One example is the story of the newspaper reporter who kidnapped, tortured, and butchered women who resembled his mother, then wrote stories of the killings in his newspaper articles. There's also the unthinkable story of a teenage boy obsessed with decomposition who kidnapped, raped, and dismembered a young innocent girl. The stories in this volume are revolting and disconcerting, but they're true. These things really happen in the world. Though we will never fully understand the criminal mind, at least we can be better informed. Lastly, I encourage you to join my mailing list for discounts, updates, and a free book. You can sign up for that here. http://truecrimecasehistories.com/free. Thank you for reading. I hope you enjoy this volume as much as I've enjoyed researching and writing it. Jason. 1. The Broomstick Killer. The tale of the Broomstick Killer is easily one of the most sinister stories in Texan history. Kenneth McDuff was a bloodthirsty killer who was granted unprecedented leniency by a justice system that allowed him to continue killing even after he had shown that he was a sadistic psychopath. The tiny town of Rosebud in central Texas was the home of a notoriously strange family, the McDuffs. J.A. McDuff, the father, owned a cement finishing business that did quite well during the building boom of the late 70s, and the family was well off by small-town standards. The mother, Addie McDuff, ran the laundromat across from their home and doted over her 6 children. She was a large, headstrong woman known for being overprotective of her children and would come running if they ever encountered trouble. Addie was notoriously known to carry a gun in her purse and was referred to as the pistol-packing mama by the locals in Rosebud. Her children's teachers feared her because she would storm into the school in a huff any time one of her children was accused of misconduct. To Addie, her children could do no wrong whatsoever, and if someone accused them of anything, the school was likely to blame.